Dude, it looks so dope. Holy shit.
Welcome to another episode of my vlog, which is going to be like completely in English, because my today's guest is Jorge Alba, better known by his nickname Urbanentdecker, my good friend and well-known architecture photographer. Before I met Jorge, like a year and a half ago, I used to use his Instagram account as a kind of guide to all the cool Warsaw photography spots, and that was like a big surprise to me when I learned about the fact that he comes from Salvador and he moved to Warsaw like 2 years ago. He was the person who organized first Insta meets in Warsaw, and he's like a really important person when you are talking about Warsaw Instagram or Polish Instagram community. And this is something to be admired, because if you come from like the other side of the world, what is like precisely coming from Salvador to Poland, and you make a kind of a movement here, even on social media, that means something. That means that you got something. Jorge lived in Poland like for 2 years now. He came to Europe like 5 years ago. First of all, he started in Berlin, then he moved to Warsaw, and now in a week time he's like moving away. First of all, he's going back to Salvador for some time and having some kind of a break from his European life, and then he's going back to Berlin. So for now it's like the last day to spend with him and talk a little bit about his background, why he started photography at all, why he moved to Poland, like first of all, and talk a little bit about photography and all those cool shots. So today I think we're gonna go through at least 2 or 3 of his favorite spots and the places that are like really well known on Instagram, and he was probably one of the first who made them popular on Instagram. So let's go. Chasing a dream. What you do? Don't go.
How was the trip?
My trip?
Yeah. When can you go there?
How is your packing?
Oh, it's terrible. Finding a like a company to send my stuff for not like 1,000 euros. But I finally found a place and I sent it 4 boxes, 80 kilos, and that's half of my life. So hopefully they arrive safe.
Because Jorge is living Poland, but the most interesting question is why did you end up in here in the first place? Why Poland?
So I moved to Poland to study. I changed my career choice, and then I decided to study something related with photography, and then I started searching universities. I found a university here and decided to move here because I wanted to study in the University of Łódź. But at the end, I spent 2 years here and I'm moving back to Berlin. But I'm taking a break after 5 years, so I'm going home.
But how did you end up in Poland? Because Poland is like really abstract place for somebody from Salvador, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I just started searching universities, and then I talked to like the director of the university, and that's kind of what inspired me to move here, because he was like a well-recognized photographer.
And his name is?
Marian Schmidt. Conversation with him inspired me to take the decision to move to Poland. Even though I never been to Poland before, or I didn't really hear much about Poland. You know, I'm from Salvador, so a bit far away.
So the second question, why are you moving away then?
So like this past year, like last year, I had a conversation with someone that I really admired. Kind of made me realize that in order to achieve more, I had to like go out of Poland. At the moment, that moment of my life, I felt I was in a comfort zone here, and like thinking about the future of what I want to do and where I want to get So that's basically why I decided to move Poland. Leaving aside all the troubles that I had of
Leaving aside all the cheesy stuff that happens in Poland when you're working on freelance, right?
yeah. So this was one of the first metro stations I took pictures of. I just arrived here by mistake. I was looking for the new metro line and I just arrived here and it's pretty dope. I like the concrete and brutal look of the station. Pretty nice. Let's get an Uber. Uber everywhere. Uber everywhere, bro. Yo, I fucked it up, dude.
Nope, this is my first time here. I've seen it like multiple times on Instagram, right? This is like one of the most Instagrammable places in Warsaw. And the funny fact is that because we met like a year and a half ago, right, at Philip's party. Before I moved to Warsaw, you were the account on Instagram that I was like getting to know cool spots in Warsaw to photograph, but you were the sneaky bastard. You never wrote precisely where this spot is. So I was like looking at some really cool shots, but never knew where exactly they are.
I think I was one of the first
I think
persons on Instagram that posted a picture of this place.
Yeah, I think you were like, that was the funny thing, that I was learning about Warsaw from the Instagram account of a guy from Salvador.
So pro trip, never come to this place to take pictures on a weekend. There is always events going on. Sadly today there is event. Most of the time during weekends they have events and they have awful decorations, so you cannot really take pictures of the space. That place is amazing. It was renovated recently. So
don't let go, chasing a dream. When you do,
I moved in May 2016 and I started exploring late May. And when I was here, this place didn't look like this. They renovated, like they painted the place, so now it looks super clean, way better. If you can scroll down on my pictures and you will see how it looks, how it looks to you back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, you would see no flex, but I was one of the first to post pictures of this place.
So how it all started, man? Why are you shooting like architecture?
So well, I started photography in late 2015. Started with my phone, and I basically always been exposed to photography through my brother. He's like a photographer. So I used to help him, so I always been exposed to photography. And when I moved to Berlin, I was never exposed to art in a way that I was exposed in Berlin. It just inspired me to start capturing my surroundings. So basically I just started like taking pictures of my kind of daily life, like where I was going, and then I really like graffiti, so I started taking pictures of graffitis. And then it started developing and started reading about all these kind of historical buildings or famous buildings in Berlin, and the story behind these buildings like really captured my attention. So I just got more and more interested in architecture. Basically it's how I decided to start architecture photography. And it's also, you know, they say like photography, I know that sounds corny, but like people say that photography is a reflection of who you are, and then field architecture photography is the best way to express like myself and who I am, because with architecture photography it's like you always had to see things in a different perspective, in a perspective that makes sense to you, and that is different of what, like, you know, actually is there. So it's kind of, I relate that to life, where it's like sometimes some experiences don't make sense, but with time you get new perspective and then things make sense in a way that, you know, this past experience helps you and builds the character, and it will take you to where you want to go. So that's why that's how I kind of put like my life philosophy into my work.
So now we are going to Novotel spot, right?
Yeah.
And what's special about this spot?
So yeah, in this place you have like a pretty nice view of the Palace Culture in the center. It looks pretty nice during sunset. You have like all the skyline on the back, so it's pretty nice place to shoot. You have to shoot through a window, that's the only problem, but you can always manage. I took a picture of that place, and then a month later I did a takeover on The Guardian, and I posted some pictures from that perspective, which is pretty cool. When I came here to Poland, like, you know, there was an Instagram community, there was not so much going on. So when I moved here, I decided the best way to get to know new people in town was to make an Insta meet, and exactly during those days was a worldwide Insta meet. So with my friend Mateo and my friend Ty and others like my German friends, we decided it was a good idea to do an Insta meet here, start getting in contact with some Polish people, some Polish places that we could visit. We got like sponsored by Samsung Germany because Samsung Poland didn't want to do anything with us. So yeah, that was like the first time, and we did like an Insta meet. It was like around 80 people came the first day, and that's how I get to know like a lot of new people, make some friends. And that was the first Insta meet we did here. Had the opportunity to do like 4 Insta meets in Poland, which is like 4 worldwide Insta meets. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. You know, try to grow the community. And nowadays, you know, Instagram is far from the golden days where it was all about community, but it was cool that we were able to bring that to Poland.
So what have changed that you say it's far from golden era?
Well, like before it was about more community, you know, just people meeting other people that inspired them, that they've been following them, and nowadays it's all about money and being an influencer, what you can get from companies. So it's, and also Instagram shutting down their community managers all around the world, so that kind of destroyed the community, and that's for me what makes Instagram such a great place and such a successful app. So let's see what's next. Hopefully something better.
So why did we have to like hide our cameras here? Do they have a problem shooting here?
Sometimes in the hotel, you know, people get like a bit weird. That's why I don't tag like the places I go, because a lot of people don't respect the places, you know, and they just kind of ruin the spot for other people if they want to visit. So it happened like a lot of time when I was in Berlin. A lot of people, you know, they don't respect the places, so they do noises or they do crazy shit. So it's just better to keep it like that, and you know, so if someone else wants to come, they're able to do it without any problem. So that's why we just kind of hide the cameras and try to stay low key as possible, so we don't bother any guests or whatever.
What you do, ooh. Don't go.
So the final stop on our tour, Polish Jews History Museum.
Probably
Poland.
my favorite place to shoot.
And that's actually pretty sad to admit, but I've never been here like any of the places we visited today, and that was also the place I learned about from your Instagram.
This is the best European museum of 2017, and it's one of my favorite places to shoot, and the architecture, but also like the whole history. It's amazing. I believe, I'm pretty sure it was designed by the Finnish architecture studio together with a Polish architecture studio. Dude, it looks so dope, holy shit. Hello. Amazing, man.
For me the external mic is like the game changer, and also like when I'm thinking about going to Brazil and to going to some places, it's like much better like to take a GoPro than to
I feel like when you go with a big camera, like a lot of people just get super shy, you know, and because it's like super intimidating, like to have a big camera with a big mic, and when you have a GoPro, it's like a small device, and you know,
like,
even if you have a mic,
like everybody has it, right?
Yeah.
But the second thing is I was rather thinking about getting robbed.
No, I mean for sure, like I mean it's dangerous, like Latin America is dangerous, but like you know you can still get around. Like you have to be wise or where you're going and where you're taking yourself out. But people feel more comfortable like talking to a GoPro than a big camera with a big lens. And you know it's the same when you take pictures. A lot of people, they just get like really camera shy when they see a big camera with a big lens. And you know also when you do like street photos, like it's easier when you shoot with a smaller camera, and when you shoot in like a Mark IV, you know, and with a 35 or like a bigger lens, people get really paranoid also.
Yeah.
Like
the same case is with this Panasonic, for example. When you take it like to like professional productions, it's much better to shoot it for me with Panasonic sometimes than when the big cameras like Reds and stuff, because that's like pro and con at the same time. The client doesn't take you serious, but on the other hand, like the people don't take you serious too, and that's why they get like more natural and comfortable.
It has pros and cons. Of course, like you know, when you do like super big productions, of course they need these cameras. But how the technology has evolved, it's now we have like opportunity not to have like these big devices, so you know you can choose whatever suits you best and do your thing. It's also works with the people you're going to work, so it's not a sponsor video.
Of course not.
Well, I don't know in Poland, but in Germany, like the government chases you
for being sponsored.
They are chasing like the influencers, but I think it's like there's something that had to be done, because you know influencers or whatever, they were just abusing the market. You know, they were getting paid to do a sponsor post for products that they don't even use or they will never use. They were tricking like their like fan base to go buy them. Well, I don't know if people actually go buy like the stuff like these influencers tell them to do. I know that some people have that power, so they saw that it was such an abuse, and a lot of people don't pay taxes. So there is this case of a famous like influencer that, because she was not disclosing her sponsor post, she got like tracked down by the government, and then the government sent her to court, and she's been fighting against the government for like, she said like 1 year, and then she got like a fine for like 50,000 euros. But I think it was something that had to be done, like, and I don't know how long it will take to come to Poland, you know, because in Germany it's now in full
full swing.
Yeah, like they just chasing people that don't disclose like their sponsor posts. And they, if you see like most of the German accounts, when they do like a sponsor post, they have ad before starting the post, said Anzeige or ad, or you know, sponsor, just you know, so just people know that this is like something that they got paid for.
Cześć, Wojtek. Pisałem ostatnio do ciebie.
Tak?
Tak, na Instagramie. Dobra robota.
No to jesteś następnym.
Gang, gang. O, cześć.
Cześć Krzysiu. Siemanko, z tej strony Nowciak. Dzisiaj jesteśmy na Sneakernessie. Razem z Krzyśkiem odkrywamy tutaj nowe stoiska, nowe buty, nowe ciuchy, nowych marek. Ogólnie wszystko tutaj jest nowe, tak samo jak nowa lokalizacja. Jesteśmy na Powiślu, jesteśmy na starej elektrowni, jak się nie mylę. Co mogę powiedzieć o evencie? Event jest Stick in the nectar. Instagram husband. The Instagram husband, bro.
Tutaj mamy typowy przykład, że natury nie oszukasz.
Jeśli jesteś z Ameryki Południowej, musisz grać w piłkę.
Widzisz piłkę, musisz ją kopać.
Oh, 69, bro! No, 69, bro! This is ultimate content creator.
So, we've been to the most expensive market in Poland right now, right?
Yeah.
See you there.
Sayonara.
Dzień dobry Państwu.
Bo nie będą podchodzić, nie? O! Witam. Dzień dobry,
To
uszanowani.
niespodzianka. Dzień dobry.
Dobra, to może kabel puść.
Take care, man.
Yeah, dude.
See you, man.
Peace out, guys.
So that was pretty long and tiring day, and we finished it up visiting Sneakerness. That's like the biggest sneaker market in Poland right now, from what I've heard. And then we went to Streetwear Nomads exhibition, organized by my friends Zulu, Paula, David, Michał, whom you already know from my vlogs, if you have seen them. And that was pretty nice because most of them know Jorge. We are like one big friends and family. So he had an opportunity to say goodbye to everyone, and everyone loves Jorge because he's such a cool dude to hang out with, as you have seen. I hope I got one more chance to see him before he leaves, but have safe travels, buddy. I love you, bro, and see you probably in Berlin. Would love to go to Salvador, but probably we'll see in Berlin. So follow Jorge's Instagram. Link to his Instagram will be in the description below. If you like those videos, please subscribe my channel, comment and like the videos, and see you next time.